Big LEZ'S League, an all rugby league experience.
Hello, welcome back to Big LEZ'S League, an all rugby league experience. I'm your host, Big Les. Make sure to go ahead and subscribe to the YouTube, become a part of the Big LEZ'S League community. It obviously is the first video that we've thrown out since the Running Mature interview as well, which has been pumping on the YouTube algorithms as well. So make sure you go ahead and have a listen to that one. It is a great podcast. As I said, it's probably one of the better interviews that I've done. We've obviously got a few more interviews lined up as well throughout the off season, which we're getting organised and finalised. You got some great content coming your way, so make sure you go ahead and stay tuned for that. But this is a part of that great content. The Pacific Championships are going to be covering every single game of the Pacific Championships and the Pacific Bowl. We'll start off here with the Kangaroos taking on Tonga. This one's going to be a good one. I'm looking forward to seeing how either of these teams go. It is going to be an interesting contest. I mean, you really are looking at Tonga as the dark horses in this Pacific Championship. Australia, obviously, after a huge loss to the Kiwis, and the Kiwis having a huge loss as well with Jerome Hughes, unfortunately being ruled out of this one. Sean Johnson does come in, but they do have a lot of other injuries as well, including in their pack, which is going to really hurt them going into this Pacific Championships. But in saying that, they've got some great players as well to cover those positions. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. Look, it's Australia's opportunity to prove themselves, I guess, as the favourites as well in the Pacific Championships. It's their opportunity to really stamp their authority. Cannot speak English on this competition, and I can't wait to see them do that. It is going to be led by their forward pack. I mean, you are going up against one of the more gnarly forward packs in this entire competition. Tonga, they've got Adam Fanua-Blake, Felice Kafusi, Amole Olakawatu, Eli Katoa, Jason Taumalolo, Sitili Tupanua, Taniela Paseka, Keon Kaloa-Matangi. I mean, they've got Siwa Wong in the reserves. That's how stacked this forward pack really is. I am looking forward to seeing the damage that they can do in this game, and I imagine they do quite a bit of damage through the middle. It's going to be up to guys like Paddy Carrigan, Lindsay Collins, Isaiah Yeo, how they handle that pressure. You've also got Angus Crichton and Cam Murray on the edge as well, who can do some damage too. And then Barnett, Cotter, Hudson Young. This forward battle is going to be so good to watch. It's probably going to be one of the better games of the entire tournament as well. I think this one will be close. I think it will be a real tight battle through the middle. I think it is going to be very dependent on the half battle. Obviously, kicks out of yardage. Who can get the furthest out of yardage? Who's in the opposition's own end more? I think that's really going to be a big determinant as to who wins this game. Whoever gets the most field position for me wins, and it might sound stupid, but I think that both of these teams have the ability to score against the other with the caliber of players that they have. So I think that it is going to be a big field position thing. It's going to be a big defensive thing for both sides as well. How they handle each other's pressure, how they handle the obstacles they get thrown at their way, both sides. It is going to be really interesting. I love the battle here of Lomax and Daniel Tupou in the air. That is going to be absolutely insane to watch. Obviously, Tupou is a king in the air. He's a prolific try scorer. He's pretty much the OG of getting balls in the air, scoring tries. He's the OG of scoring tries on the wing, big Danny Tupou. So he is going to be on his game in this one. Paired up with Moses Sully as well. He's a tough competitor, can get a great offload off as well. That is definitely going to be the edge to watch for me for this Tongan side. I mean, you go over to the other edge there for Tonga, Paula Lamotti, Sione Katoa. It is equally as dangerous, but I just feel like Isaiah Katoa, kicking game-wise, in the air on that left-hand side, there are going to be a few issues for the Australian team defending a guy like Daniel Tupou in the air. But Lomax, he handled himself very well in Origin in the air. I imagine he'll handle himself well here. And for me, you're looking at Lomax going into next year as well. I feel like he'll be on the wing. He said he wants to play center. He reckons he is playing center. I don't think it's going to be that easy for him. I think he will be starting the year on the right wing. Having him in the centers means he's going to have to move to left center, which means he moves to the other side of the field. Obviously people go, oh, look, you're just moving from one side to the other. It's not a big deal, but it is. Defensively, new combinations, passing wise, left to right, right to left. It is a big difference. And defensively as well, it is a little bit different too. So, I just think that it's much easier to have him on that right wing. Plus, you're pairing him with a guy like Will Penasini. It's a podcast for another time. We'll start the season review soon. We're actually going to be recording them potentially on Monday and then having them come out after that as well. So that content's coming very, very soon with that special guest host. But talking back to this game, Lomax in the air against Daniel Tupou, I'm looking forward to it. The backline battle in itself is really entertaining. You obviously got Hammer going up against Paul Alamotti, Tom Travojevic going up against Big Moses Sully. And that's another thing that just really makes me like this left to right battle here. Daniel Tupou, Moses Sully, Tom Travojevic, and Zach Lomax there in the air as well. Really liking this battle. Tom Travojevic, it is going to be very interesting to see how long he gets to play. And if he is on that right edge, I honestly think there is definitely a world where we see the Hammer actually playing on the right with Turbo on the left. And the reason for that is we got the guy, Matt Burton, sitting on 14 on the bench. Obviously, Tom Travojevic, he's had a number of injuries throughout the season. We don't know how fit he is. We don't know if he's 100% going into this game. You'd think he'd be. But we just never know what's going to happen with Tom Travojevic. I almost feel like having Burton there at 14, it is cover for Turbo. I don't know if Turbo plays the full 80. It really depends on his fitness and obviously how he's going with the minor injuries that he's carrying as well, because I imagine he's carrying a few niggles here and there going into this contest. So I think there's a big chance that we don't see Turbo finish the game, not due to injury, but just due to obviously getting him back in the swing of things as well in this tournament. I think that we may see Matt Burton go into left centre, and that's why I'm sort of thinking we could see Hammer play on the right side with Turbo actually on the left-hand side with Xavier Coates. But we'll have to wait and see. Going back to this halves battle, look, obviously, plenty of experience in this halves battle as well. Lolohea going up against Moses, and then the rookies, Tommy Dearden, going up against Isaiah Katoa. I think, though, that Australia have the advantage, not just with the kicking game, because Moses' kicking game we know is impeccable, but I really do think in regards to the running game, we've definitely got a very fast-paced running halves. Obviously, Moses, his running game is unreal, and so is Tom Dearden's. I mean, this is going to be a extremely, extremely interesting battle to watch, especially if we start to get a bit of momentum. The Kangaroos, those guys are going to be a big part as to us putting on points, especially if they're able to break the line, get a fend on, get an offload to one of their outside men or one of their back rowers. That's what's going to decide how dominant Australia are in this game. The momentum that we can grab, and then obviously getting the ball out wide. I don't know for how long we win the battle through the middle. I mean, we've got great middles: Collins, Carrigan, Yowie, obviously Barnett, Cotter, Young off the bench. That does worry me a little bit, the size coming off the bench, Cotter, Young. But, I do worry, obviously, Collins towards the back end of the year, the form hasn't been the best. I do worry a little bit about how long we can keep the fight going through the middle. I think once we get momentum, we have to go to our outside men like Tom Travojevic, like Lomax, like Hammer, who can do so much on the edge, the speed, the ball playing, and then obviously Xavier Coates as well. The thing I love about Hamaso Tabuai-Fidow is he not only has the speed and the acceleration, but he also has beautiful timing and great footwork as well. We saw that in Origin in Game 1 with a few of the tries that he'd scored as well and just some of his footwork. We've seen it in Origin in the past. I'm really looking forward to seeing what he can dish up here in the centres, Hamaso Tabuai-Fidow. But that does worry me a little bit, the size coming off the bench and how long we can keep the momentum going through the middle. The Kangaroos, that's going to be a big, telling part of if we can or cannot win this contest against Tonga. Look, for them, it's a little bit of the opposite. They can keep the battle going through the middle quite nicely. They've got some great middles coming off the bench. Paseka, Keon coming off the bench is just going to be wild. I imagine both of those guys are going to be coming on through the middle. I almost have a little bit of a premonition that Tupanua might come on at 13 and just play a bit of a ball playing role. Either him or Kaon will do that role nicely, but I think Tupanua will come on through the middle of the field to start at least. I don't see any of these back rowers coming off, Hamole or Eli Katoa. I think they both stay on for the full duration of the contest. It is going to be a bit of carnage if you do take one of those guys off. So keep both of them on. And then obviously play the rest of these guys through the middle. I think the best footy we've seen from Tupanua as well has been through the middle. So I think that's where he's going to play in this contest. I'd love to hear your thoughts, guys. What are your thoughts? What do you think? Where does Tupanua come on in this contest? But I think they can keep the competition going, the battle going through the middle quite nicely. But, they have got some strike out wide as well. If they do get a bit of that momentum, obviously Isaiah Katoa, his kicking game is great. Getting the ball out to guys like Katoa, like Daniel Tupou in the air as well. Moses Sully, who is just an absolute wrecking ball there in the centres, defensively and in attack. And then Paul Alamotti as well, who probably has the best kick chase, or at least had the best kick chase towards the back end of the season in the competition for centres. Just some of the coverage, especially on last tackle, chasing, and obviously pretty much jamming other wingers in their own end. He did it so well against the Sharks. He did it again very, very well in the grand final on Will Warbrick on a number of occasions. I really do like Paul Alamotti. He is on the opposite edge, or he probably will be on the opposite edge to what he usually played, and obviously had that great kick chase on that left-hand side. But I think the kick chase will be as equally as good. And I can't wait to see how he goes in this Tongan outfit. For me, I do like the Kangaroos to get the job done. Obviously, we do have some great guys in the air in Xavier Coates and in Zach Lomax. If Tonga are to win, as I said, they've got to win the battle through the middle, and I think they can do that for sure. Tire the Australian forwards out through the middle. Then if they need to, obviously getting that momentum and getting the ball out wide to some of their absolute speedsters in Alamotti, Katoa, Daniel Tupou in the air as well is great, especially when you're on your own line, or when they're on our line, I should say. But I think the big thing that not a lot of people are talking about, if Tonga are to win this game, give Katoa the keys. You cannot let Lolohea run the side. I love Lolohea. I think he can run the side very well. But Katoa is the future. Katoa is the future of this Tongan outfit. You've got to just give him the keys, let him run the team. This is Katoa's team. You've got to let him, be the orchestrator of the attack, make the decisions on last. He's that guy. He's that dude. Give him the keys. Let him run the team. I think that is the key for this Tongan side if they are to win this contest. Obviously, Katoa with a bit of a mixed season and a bit of a mixed bag to end the year in and out of first grade. I really do think that this is going to be a tone setter for 2025 for him. He's going to prove to Christian Wolf that he's the halfback of the Dolphins and that he cannot be taken in and out of first grade. He needs to have that opportunity. Going into round one next year for the Dolphins, but he's definitely going to prove himself to his future coach for next year in this game in round one. And I think the fact that he's been picked at halfback in this side as well is a very strong message that Christian Wolf knows that he's the guy. He wants him to prove it. So give Katoa the keys, let him run the side. His kicking game is great when he's on. I really just want to see him prove that in this one. And that's going to be very dangerous too on last tackle plays, even on third and fourth if he wants to get out of his own end and pick up that yardage. He's going to be so dangerous. That paired with the kick chase of Alamotti, both of those guys being on the right, that is going to be such a scary prospect for the Kangaroos. But I've got the Kangaroos winning this game. I can't go against my Aussies here. In terms of anytime try scorers, I love the Hammer. I think that, as I said, his deception with his footwork and his acceleration off the mark, his speed in general is just unmatched in the competition. For me, I think he's definitely first or second fastest in the comp at the moment. So Hamaso Tabuai-Fidow, for me, I've got scoring a try. I also really like Sione Katoa. Himself and Paul Alamotti, if they're both on the right side, will build a nice little combination going into the rest of this Pacific Championships. I like them paired together. I think Katoa scores. Katoa loves to score. So I'm taking Sione Katoa, Hamaso Tabuai-Fidow with the Kangaroos to win. Let me get up the sports bet. I think that bet makes the most sense. I think you are going to get a little bit of value there as well. Obviously, they've taken rugby league off since the NRL season is over. Let's go rugby league. Australia v Tonga. Go Australia to win with who did we have? We had Hamaso Tabuai-Fidow, $4.50. No, that's 2 or more. We want any time. Let's go. Boom. Hamaso Tabuai-Fidow at $1.75 into Oceanic Qatar at $2.35. We have $5.25. That took a while to load up, but $5.25. Australia, Hammer, Sione Katoa. Keeping it simple for this one. Well, last bet got up for the Prime Ministers. Let's see if this one gets up to. That's my preview for Australia, Tonga. Our Fiji and PNG preview, that's going to come out a little bit later, probably around 6 p.m. after this game or finishes or just before it's about to start. This one kicks off at 8:10. Yeah, so just before this one, 2 hours before this one kicks off, we will get the Fiji and PNG preview for tomorrow at 7:10 live and on your screens. But there you go. Australia v Tonga. Who do you think is going to win? Let us know in the comments. We'll see you guys in the next one.